survived! You certainly do have some skills, my friend. Well, since you're here, you could always help me out. I'm looking for a pendant. It's on the neck of that buffoon Claudina mentioned earlier. If you're not sure what he looks like, he's about 6'2", very neatly trimmed beard, missing his right index finger, and has a red and black shield with a blue griffin holding a spear. So, while we look, I shall tell you the tales of the noobs at large.
So, yeah, Sunday, we actually got to go to the battle this time.
Yeah, as us.
As us.
It's the first time I've ever taken to the field, either of us, right, as a big battle.
Yeah, and in the big battle as our own characters. And that was super exciting. But I think what was really interesting about it, we both walked into it, like we were nervous, but both walked into it super hyped and confident in our own way.
I was like... I felt really confident going into that.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like... And bear in mind, we had given the people that were facing us a battering the day before.
So we thought they're going to want to come back and give some to us, right?
Yeah, I thought they were just going to hit us so hard. But also, I was at that stage where I started to accept the idea of me dying.
Yeah, like... Right? We've done some cool stuff as our characters, both of us. So kind of like, that's all you really want, right? And then... You can, and if you die on the Sunday, as I said before, I think there's a little bit more leeway for you as a player. Like, if you died, you would say, okay, cool, I'll come up with a new character for next time.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm gonna play this game for how the game's meant to be played, right? Not that I haven't before,
just
but that's
balls out and go.
Yeah, I'm gonna really, because bear in mind, so bear in mind I'd spoken to the egregore and I said like, oh, I want to step up and maybe do some like learn how to be a commander or whatever, and so it comes around to us and we're having this like team meeting about how many, the battle we're about to go and fight. And they said that we were a bit light, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they were worried about us being a bit light. And then they're having this meeting about what's going to happen in the battle. Only listen to these people, keep ourselves regimented. Yeah. And everyone looked pretty fucking serious, right? And not in like an RP way, but in a kind of, it's not good.
It was cool. There was actually a guy who was coming up and he was like a winter marker, I think. He was being all weird around everybody. He was a bit weird around my weaponry and stuff. And you actually called to me in character, Talus, concentrate.
Was that a woman? I thought it was a woman.
Might have been. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That's hilarious. So the egregore's in there and he goes, is there an Ifan here? And I'm like, because bear in mind...
Previous day, we had heard there was another Ifan.
Okay, so some Eurozen guys would come into the camp and were looking for an Ifan. And I had a very strange 5 minutes explaining to the guy who I was and how I probably wasn't the Ifan they were looking for. So I had that in my mind and I just assumed other Ifan is some big deal, right? Like he has Eurozen people travelling over to do deals with him. Yeah.
There's nobody coming to do a deal with you.
There's no one coming to do a deal with me. Like I haven't there's nothing going on. So... when he said Ifan, I just didn't step up, right? And then afterwards, they went, I walked up to him and I went, I'm Ifan, I think you meant me. I felt so ridiculous.
It felt like that bit from school, right, where you fucked up.
Just like, I'm a fully grown adult that has had wonderful adventures around the world, and I'm being just...
But I think that was different. I think you honestly thought he meant somebody else. It is difficult. There are a lot of characters with the same name, and people often ask for, so and so.
It was another. I'll get there eventually, right? But just silly. So then he says, "Oh, follow this guy," and he says, "No, don't follow him. Follow these guys." And these guys, I followed they called the Black Fawns.
Black Fawns.
Who are like
you could get paired up with better, dude. Not in our nation.
They're the elite-ish kind of more. Elite
Proper
unit,
legit
right? Like,
they're
okay. So I could tell immediately that that's what these people were by the way they talked about battle, and it was a really great thing to listen to. Was that it wasn't that we were going out there just to line up against another unit and engage them. It was a lot more. We're not going to engage until we're absolutely ready, and then when we do hit them, we're going to hit them really, really fucking hard, which is actually the Navarre tactic.
Yeah, but executed well.
But it doesn't make sense unless you have another force to do holding actions.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, right? It only works you are in a rigid battlefield or semi-rigid, right? And then this other unit comes in to breach units. It makes a lot more sense in that environment.
You can't all be hammer, right? There has to be hammer and anvil.
Yes.
Right?
That's what I think anyway. And you can't necessarily rely on other nations to be anvil all the time, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so then did we get split up Yeah, obviously we did.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you were
totally.
with the,
I'm with the medic group, and we're kind of flying around in there. Yeah, and basically the medics pretty much always get pulled out and sort of put into medic blocks. Being an archer medics, that kind of even more gets accentuated from there. You end up being, as I say, like a kind of almost like a flying medic, because you can go into points in the battle where you can.
I saw you all over the place.
Yeah, I do. I try and play the medic game that way. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's slightly counter to the wishes.
We didn't even mention one of the most important things about this battle: the fucking Black Plateau stuff, because it made you go crazy. Because we went to a place called the Spire, which is like
Spiral, which
Spiral,
has got this place in it called the Black Plateau.
Yeah.
And on there, there's these crazy magic effects that you get given, which are basically just cards, by the way, and they just tell you like, while you're here, you have heightened emotions. If you have negative emotions, they rise to the surface.
Yeah, you feel if you have like an issue with something, and then you're verbally or whatever, you actually act out against that thing.
You gain pleasure from doing that.
From doing it. So say if you have a problem with someone, you'll start off by being like happy about giving them shit, but you might be eventually happy enough that you try and kill them. Yeah. Right. So Black Plateau battles pretty bad. I have to say, some people listen to this might say weak sauce. Yeah. But I feel like me and you, we were in a really good place, right? Like we were in a really happy mood. Like,
I didn't feel like it was right for my character to really bring negative emotions that he didn't really have to the fore. Right? There weren't any emotions that were negative enough for me to feel like that would overcome me at this point. So I felt actually like I was pretty chill and mellow. And they had said actually that is cool as well. Like, so I can't imagine we're the only people who probably played it that way. But like some people RP'd it up really hard and really well, and you had people freaking out, kind of almost frothing at the mouth, ready to do some damage, and other people getting control of them. It was proper cool. Like it's telling each other to fight it, to resist and hold on and all this kind of stuff.
So I started the battle joining this unit, and there was a young man that came along with us who was a listener of the podcast, and I recognised him because he'd left a comment, and we'd spoken like briefly, right? Yeah. But he was a young guy, and he was like I think that was his first event, or the first event was the other one. Sure. It might have been his first event, Yeah. I kind of recognised him, but I was like 80-90% sure. But also we're in character, so I was just like, you know what, I'll just say hello. But that was cool. That was nice.
Really nice.
But the nice thing was, no out of character chat. It was just
all in character.
I don't know. He was a young guy and he looked quite nervous, but I don't know who looked more nervous, because I was like, man, I was kind of separated from what I was comfortable with you being around or being part of the main squad. So I was a bit like, what's going to happen next, right? I was, but excited. Yeah. We came out, right? So we go through and we come into a forested area and we're marching through as a column. We're kind of lackadaisically coming into this area, right? Yeah. Like it's not really, no one's in a big hurry. And there's enemy forces moving around on the left-hand side towards us. And then all of a sudden, they charge and no one's ready to meet that charge. Right?
It's funny how quickly you can get pulled. You realise that you're out of position and you're about to get a good shooing.
People just didn't move fast enough up. It was bad.
We should say as well, the objective for this battle was that we had to get into this place and kill this... essentially like an orc who had been possessed by an evil force.
Not kill it.
Oh no, to subdue it.
And then someone was going to do an exorcism on it.
Oh my god, it was so good.
And it was just, oh my god, yeah.
We'll get to that.
So we get hit, and it's just carnage, right? And I lose my unit. I don't know where the fuck they went. It was but because everything got pushed around, the ground was uneven. I think there was on the ground. You sometimes get like tree trunks and whatever. Sure. I think I just got pushed the wrong side of that, or the other side, and got pushed around. So I kind of got ditched out the side. We polished that enemy off fairly quickly, but then I was like lost, and then all I saw was other Navarre, so I followed them. They turned out to be the scouts.
Nice.
Okay. So I headed around like with them, and we're all like keeping low and kind of running along, and I'm like, this is great. This is awesome. Navarre Scouts. This is some good shit.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of them as well. And they look legit.
It was there was about, I don't know, between 8 and 10. Something. I don't know.
There's quite a few in the group, but I think they kind of act in small groups.
But so we're walking along, and then we see enemy moving around, and we're like checking stuff out, and then we're like, oh man, we're gonna get found. It's really scary because you've got
a very small group.
And you're completely isolated. So we ran away from some dudes and then we formed the line, but by then the whole army had moved out into this other area. Were you in that group that moved through into the main area?
Yeah, so we'd gone through to the main area at this point, but you guys were still fighting behind.
Yeah, there was some weird kind of like back end skirmish stuff.
Because the thing is, there's a very narrow gate for us to potentially get through from the woods to the fields, which is actually the same palisade wall we ended up walking into, which is the one that you defended the third hold in the previous day, was essentially repurposed for this battle. And so we all got pushed out there. It was relatively, for me, low contact stuff before then. I mean, it was some good fighting, but mainly just medic game stuff, just running around getting people up. And then we pushed into this clearing, and I think the thing was the amount of people trying to file through and the forces attacking us on the rear, just the line got drawn out, and that made it a bit hairy for you guys.
Well, I think it was around at that point when I left the scouts,
right?
Because I wanted to be part of the unit, because obviously I wanted to try and
learn, right?
Yeah, and it was like, so I left them. I tried to find it, and then I quickly found
the people you were after,
the unit I was with. We went to the right hand section where there's a kind of like pine forest, so it looks like really dense, and then when you walk through it, it's a lot more open.
Yeah, that's nice, that bit of terrain.
Oh yeah, the enemy are all like, it's called the Eater of Hope or something, Destroyer of Hope.
So good.
So everyone that we're facing looks like normal Empire people, but they're insane.
Yeah, and they're all like, your hope is gone. Where is your hope now?
Laughing. This one girl, that's a memory that will stay with me. Giddy laughing as she charged at us was like, oh my god. We kind of just confirmed. A lot of people got stabbed. I stabbed a young man because he was facing the wrong way.
So, during all this, we get pushed in that pine forest. After you guys have gone through, we get hit by another force and get pushed back, I think. And we managed to repel them, but one of our guys gets taken down, and he's got these two people who basically, I think, both been cleaved or impaled or whatever. So they were basically just on their knees, still able to fight, screaming all this stuff. They both got pole arms, so actually they are still dangerous.
Yeah, 2 men without legs but pole arms sounds pretty dangerous.
And it's this guy and a girl kind of kneeling down there over this guy's body, and obviously I want to heal him.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to shoot at that range, because bear in mind, I mean, until I'd spoken to you properly about it afterwards, I didn't know that, you know, how it felt to get shot by an arrow, to be perfectly blunt.
Yeah, it's fine.
So it seems like it's okay, but I didn't want to shoot at that range, so it's quite close. So really what I wanted was, I don't think you can do it in Empire, but I'll maybe check about this, if you could just basically say, you know, I'm going to shoot you, and then not actually fire the arrow, and say, you know, like point blank shot or something. I don't know, because like, anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to just talk to somebody. But anyway, the point was, I was trying to get this guy who was injured and down, and then while we're sort of like jostling, I've got my sword and I'm trying to get to him, this other guy just comes along and just executes the guy on the ground, and that was a Empire person executing a downed Empire person. I didn't even clock it, okay, and then basically I go to drag this guy by his arm, because he was still acting like he was hit, so I don't think he clocked it either. And then this referee came and said, "I know you can't drag people by their arms," which is very sensible actually, but I was just wrapped up in the moment.
Yeah.
And then said, "And by the way, you're dead. Like, you just got executed." And then I was like, and so he just looked, and then the ref just looked at me and said, "You might as well just rejoin the group." Like this, you know,
He's
just
dead.
looking at these two people with no legs, this dead guy. I was like, okay, so I just left. So that was so crazy. The other guy was just like, "What? You mean I died?" And then
I worry I did that to someone.
it could have happened. I mean, it just was so crazy out there with like identity
I got
problems.
the habit where I started asking people questions. Like this one guy specifically, I said to him, "What are your feelings towards hope?"
Hope is lost.
No, he said, I went, "Please bear in mind, like, your answer might get you stabbed."
Yeah.
And he starts going, "Oh well, I lost my butter. I don't know where my butter is. Where's my butter? Why would someone tell me?" I was just like, and execute. Do you know what I mean? And I walked away going, "What a lovely chap." You know what I mean? It was, he had a chuckle. It was really good.
Oh, it was so good.
But yeah, I kind of hung around with the
Black Fawns,
and it was really great, like following them around, because they had really good, like the guy that was commanding us had this really good idea. He was basically like, "We're not going to engage in any fights that we're even going to be fair, right? We're going to circle round, we're going to wait, and as soon as we see someone's butt hanging out, we're going to charge them and just have a great time." You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we did, and it was so great watching them fight.
And it actually worked, right?
Oh man, I did some work. Holy moly, I was absolutely having a great time. I got cleaved twice in the legs at separate occasions.
Oh man, I almost want to go back to it. But when we're playing orcs, right? This is just about special powers and people using it. So there's a bit where I'm fighting with my shield and sword as an orc, and this guy just leans out and just taps my shield and says "shatter," which means that your shield is suddenly broken. And I was having such a good time fighting this guy, this person I was in like a one-on-one duel with, and all of a sudden he shattered my shield. And like in RP, and like also just part of myself, I was just like, you motherfucker.
Yeah,
I was really enjoying that fight, and then you took my shield away. But that's the brilliance of being a monster, right? That's you can just RP that. You're just like, oh, I lost my shield, then you fall back. But anyway, so back to the battle on Sunday. You guys are just kicking ass.
We had a great time.
There's a couple of us, mainly the healers and so on, who are back at the Palisade, and we're acting as like a sort of a healing group there that people can bring people back to. Yeah, like all the forces are just getting scattered all over the place.
Oh, it's carnage. Yeah, by the way, it's not really... There are lines, but they're really hard to tell. And also, because all the opposition look
like us to a certain extent.
It could be anyone, right? Yeah. So it's really hard to tell who's friends and who's foes until they charge you.
All of a sudden, we're in the Palisade and it just gets assailed by a really large group of people. And I'm just like, I shoot one with an arrow, bring him down, and then they're on us and they break in. And I just, I draw a sword and I fight as best I can. But I hit a guy like a couple of times and then I just get destroyed. Just
you go down. Like first time you've ever been.
Well, no, because there was a time obviously before with the Venom where I got taken down.
Time.
But this time I got taken down. But this was kind of more deadly in a way. Like the last time I was freaking out because I didn't want to die, but I could see that help was close. This time they killed me and they were hanging around like they were just getting ready to have a smoke or have a cheeseburger, right? Like. Because they were not under threat, right? They were just hanging about, just walking around saying, "Oh, your hope is lost," and just to all of us as we're down. Nobody's coming for you. Where is your hope now? All this kind of stuff. And it's all quiet, and they just leave us. Okay, we just get left now.
How much time do you reckon went past?
A long time, right? Bear in mind, I only have like 3 minutes 30, I think it is, for how long I have, and I'm counting it in my head. I'm thinking like, wow, this is. It seems like a lot of time, but actually, it's not a lot of time.
No.
So at about 2 minutes in. Maybe a little bit before, but I think about 2 minutes in, the battle kind of finally comes back to the Palisade, and I hear this group, and they push into the Palisade to retake it, and these two guys run in, and obviously they just want to run in and get some stabbing done, but I'm calling out physic on the floor right beneath them, and they suddenly realise that like they just saw these two guys, just the sheer number of people who were calling for them on the inside, because I'm not the only one. And one's like, I can get you up, and he's trying to work on me, and the other guy's got a shield trying to fend them off. He's like, no, we can't do it, man. There's too many. And he actually gets to drag the physic off me. They both leave, right? Just they get pushed back out.
God.
And they're just like, oh my God, that was my shot. That was mum's spaghetti. That was the time to go. And I was like, physic! But I kind of, I just stopped calling for them and let my hand drop, because I didn't want to get them killed. That was the thing. So I just was like, oh no, I'm gonzoed. And then so the battle just like beats away, and it's like, so long story short, eventually the battle comes back in again, and I'm calling out physic, and the guy comes to me, and I have literally 5 seconds left. Like the guy's on me, I'm like, he gets me up, and I'm like, I had seconds to live. I just had to say it to him just out of appreciation. And he just got me up with that, stay with me thing. So you just get the 1 HP. So he's just like, we've got to get you to safe right now.
Great skill.
What a save. It was like the end zone catch of my heart, right? I was like, it's all over.
Who's going to throw it? It's good.
Because there's an element of like, because before as well, when I called out physic before, sometimes like people just hadn't heard, right? Because the battle's so crazy, and that's the confusion of battle is legit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just calling out physic, and the line brushes over me the second time, like, geez, someone's got to hit me, so I'm literally like, physic, just calling it out. And then this guy's, oh shit, there he is, so it gets me up. And it was seconds.
Okay, there's definitely one thing about the Black Plateau, which I really enjoyed, was I gave all the medics shit.
Yeah,
because I got downed by the first time at this event, in that battle, right? And I'm fighting, I run out of hit points, I just go down.
Yeah.
It's not even something I'm thinking about.
Well, because it happened to you before with that time with the orcs, where that girl got you up from the Brass Coast in the first one, right?
Oh yeah, of course it
but
did.
I think that time your save was much more immediate,
right?
It was
immediate, yeah. This time the battle lines rolled over me.
Yeah, you had the same thing, right?
You have that kind of like where you're lying down looking at the ceiling, and then like a referee just stepped over me, and I'm like, thank you, and he's like, all right, and he said, you got two choices. You can stay here and risk getting stomped on, or move over there, which will increase your likelihood of dying. And I was like, thank you. And I just laid where I was. And I was sitting there, like, just accepting my death. And it was, I was thinking about it, and I was actually like, I'm actually okay with this.
I was kind of too.
Yeah.
It was just when you suddenly get that moment where someone comes to save you.
Well, the line, again, like, you know, like a movie where I'm underwater, where the tide moves over me, and then the tide rushes back over me again, and there's someone going, get up here, come on.
So good.
No, I had to yell at them. I was like, I'm an Ava, whatever, because everyone just assumed I was a monster.
Right.
So I was yelling at them, and they managed to get me up. But it really wasn't that long an amount of time.
No, but it feels like
but it was a really good time. But it was obviously a shift in a whole dynamic that, oh my God, I might die. Yeah, sorry, go on.
And it's just, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but the physics game is so good. Like, I think it just helps everybody so much. What it adds to the battlefield, I think, is insane to quantify.
I love physics. I love yelling at them. There's one guy who was trying to medic me up, and I was just
get me back in there,
swearing blue murder at this guy. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing, faffing about? Stop faffing about and get me back in the fight. I was just like yelling at this guy, and it was
so good.
Like, I shook him a bit, but then he realised I was RPing, and it was really good fun. Yeah, I had a really just all of this section that we're talking about now. I just had a great time with the fight. I used my little tricks. I got some good hits. My one-on-one fighting was good. I felt like my tactical awareness was up there. I had a great time.
What was it like in terms of like watching the command elements and things and just trying to pick up on things?
I was so much more aware of like how units were moving, why they were moving the way they were, how they should engage the enemy. Just a whole bunch. My brain was just
alive,
popping with like watching what was. And the nice thing about being part of this that unit that only occasionally engaged and won very fast was I got to enjoy watching everything that was going on around me. Yeah. And then after that, walking along, and then I hear someone yell, "It's the thing! It's the guy!"
Yes.
Right?
Oh my God.
And I turn around, and I think it's just inside the palisade or just outside the palisade. It's really close to the wall. It must be just outside. Because I was looking around, I was wondering what the fuck I should be doing. I remember feeling that because I was by myself. Look back, there he is. And he's running. And I'm like, I've got cleave.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking do this. So I ran over there. I go, cleave, and I hit his leg. This isn't the story of how I single-handedly took out the objective.
But it is
when I
epic.
struck that man, I'm not even saying I was the first to strike him. I definitely wasn't the last. But a lot of people hit that guy at exactly the same moment. There was just...
There's probably about 12 people who probably claimed the kill, right?
Yeah, it was... I mean, literally, there was a lot...
But you're one of those people.
It was hunting season, man. Everyone wanted a piece of him. But I got a piece of him, and I'll take it. You know what I mean? That was good.
And you brought him down, and then the exorcism team come over.
Yeah, and there was some confusion.
Because it was like, some people were going to execute him, right?
Some people... It was confusion whether
people say, don't execute him.
It was confusing whether he had already died or not.
Right.
And then, even after the battle, it was a bit confusing, because people were saying that the orc died... Because they had to exercise his spirit.
Well, this is what I was told. Okay, so after the battle, I get told by a guy from Eurozen who obviously knows that I've had links. Well, I assume knew that I had links with Eurozen and Navarre, and was basically said, you know, can you tell people that not to spread rumours and that the exorcism may not have worked in terms of he may have died as a result of the exorcism and not because somebody killed him.
Wow.
So, but they're basically just trying to hear for real what happened. So then later on, I go back and I tell that the awesome guy, like I called him the general, and he said, "Don't call me general." I don't know what his name is. I'm really sorry, but he's just an awesome dude, like the top guy, really.
The sergeant guy,
yeah. Yeah, and I told him that, and then he obviously departed that to the circle, obviously, of the standing after the battle and things. So yeah, it's interesting to see how sort of that whole side of things works, and just.
I ended up I did a courier run mission. Someone said I need a runner, and I signed up for that at one stage. That was good fun.
In the battle, this is.
Yeah, it didn't really achieve much because I actually ran out, and there was actually an ambulance that we all stopped at the end. Remember to get the ambulance in, And I ran through, and it was like, oh, there's an ambulance stoppage. That's why no one's coming through. So I basically had to wait the other side.
Yeah, one girl I think had twisted her leg quite badly, so they all stopped play for that, and that was great. And they managed to.
Well, I should say when I went to the medical tent after the battle on Saturday, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I got myself strapped up. There was a lot of knees, a lot of ankles.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
Yourselves,
right?
people.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
Just be careful. Yeah. So end of the battle.
Yeah.
Absolutely elated.
Amazing. It was
Couldn't
so
be happier.
good.
Achieved the objective. Well, we think we did.
One thing I will say about the battle is while we were in there, this was after I'd sort of seen you just not long after you'd actually brought him down with Cleve. We sort of met up briefly, and I was talking to this guy. He was the same guy I knew. The Urizen guy. Okay, really good guy, like super kick-ass fighter. And I didn't know his name, but I recognised him, so I sort of went to introduce myself. And he says, "Oh no, you must be mistaken. I don't know
who you are."
And I suddenly twigged. Like I had that sort of dumb look on my face.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the Urizen got battered in a skirmish.
Yes, and I didn't know, but apparently they were looking for me to go and join them.
Yeah, it's so bad.
And I didn't go. So I feel super bad about that. I think I'm getting a letter about that, but we'll see.
I think that the only guy that survived that can give you shit
is the guy I know.
Yeah, that's the only guy.
He's called Lanius. He's just an amazing guy. Really has been super kind, letting me to get involved in all their kind of role play and stuff. And just bear in mind, I'm really am a total noob. So like them letting me sort of be part of their game and sort of put up with my very, very noobish RP is just great. So anyway, but he's the only one left. Everyone else died. I mean, I'm just like, apparently, I think 21 people went on the skirmish and 3 came back, and he was the only Urizen who came back. And I was just like, oh shit. But anyway, so I'm talking to this guy on the field on Sunday, and he's like, oh yeah, you must be mistaken. I suddenly took, oh fuck, you died. I was like, oh man. And it was kind of cool because we talked briefly out of character, and he was like, yeah, so I'm going to play a character who's kind of the same, but like more violent. And I thought, like, you know, more aggressive. And I was like, yeah, I think for you that is like a great choice. So it was just nice to hear like that little bit. Like sometimes you will just drop RP and I'll have these little OC moments where you just kind of G each other up a bit and get excited about it. It's nice
when there's like a little bit of OC is nice sometimes, just to give each other a little nod.
Yeah, and I would in no way encourage people just to drop it all the time, but like just sprinkled in. It's nice just to have
voices,
people...
just to touch contact with a stranger who you've had a great time with.
You're doing the role-playing equivalent, just catching your breath, right? Anyway, so the battle went fantastic. We all got out and just headed back to the standing, basically, right?
Yeah, a bit of a standing. Talked about how great we did.
Yeah, and it was just a fantastic
time for Navarre, weird bit at the end where one of our commanders tried to kill somebody else.
Yeah, so, well, I don't know if I should say what I saw, but I saw someone talk to the person who drew the blade and attacked moments before they attacked. And that person, I should have done something. Like, I don't know how it's even going to weigh on Talis, the fact he hasn't done anything about it. And I don't even know if I can do something about it now. Like, or if I should just, like, I don't know, like, I saw it, so I've got to do something about it.
I think we'll talk about it.
But anyway, so I think I saw maybe somebody behind the stabbing and just didn't act at all, which is some kind of weird complacency from me, I guess. I don't know.
But I think there's something...
I was just shocked at the time.
I think, noob freeze is very real.
Yeah, that's what happened. I just noob froze.
Yeah, and it happened to me, it's happened to you. I'm sure it happens to other people, but it's part of the game. After that...
I think we just made the decision
we packed up and Ian doesn't travel light, so we there was a lot of kind of like toing and froing.
I mean, basically, there's no room in my car for taking anyone.
And your car isn't big, right?
My car's not big. But I have so much stuff. I've got the tent, which is a 4-meter bell tent. I've got a 3x3 meter awning. I've got 4 chairs.
I have like a sleeping bag, a yoga mat.
I've got so much stuff. Bags. It's insane. I've got the camp bed. Just so much stuff to take. So it's just a massive ball ache packing up. I'm not a quick guy anyway when it comes to packing up.
No. But it was eventually we got away, right? And there were people waiting for the timeout thing with their cars, man. Like people know what they want.
It was kind of weird. I mean, like, I think just at the end you do just get massively adrenaline dumped, and that's fine.
I don't know about you, but I was exhausted.
Yeah. Like
absolutely.
2 battles, 2 skirmishes. I was done, but done in such a good way. Like when we came back here afterwards, because Dave lives a lot closer than I do. So we just stopped off here just to chill out for a bit afterwards. Food, I was just like, I think we were just both blown, right? It was just like we talked, but I think we were just drained a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but still hyped. But hyped
so
in that kind
excited about everything, and
Yeah.
then, like I think there was even a temptation just to be like, "Oh, we'll record now." I think it's better that we wait like a little bit of
we
time.
did. Yeah, I think we did think about it, but we both just said it would be better to wait. And hopefully it's produced something good.
Yeah,
And it was great. It was just so good, and we're so excited. I mean, I guess we should just really quickly wrap into what we want to achieve next time, or if there is anything we even want to achieve
Okay,
next time.
so me next time, I want to definitely step up military wise. That doesn't
I think that's
necessarily
perfect for you.
that doesn't necessarily mean being a commander, but definitely being more vocal and more involved in the actual battles. I want to kind of get more involved. And I would like to start getting to the point where I can start selecting a virtue.
Right, so this kind of struck me as interesting. You seem to have gained like an interest in the religion game to an extent. I don't know, or
Just something to drive RP, and that's what I think the virtues are, right? You bump into a lot of people that are into prosperity because they work in shops and you communicate with them. But there are a lot of virtues that I'm like
tempted by, right?
Well, no, just to kind of just drive.
Yeah, it gives you an excuse. It's a bit like me
being some direction. Because at the moment, Ifan, he's going to do the military game, and he's going to get into that.
But outside of battle, what has he got?
But maybe inside of battle,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
these
they
virtues
both-
are, and I think like one thing that we both try and be is very helpful when we're there, like collecting wood and helping out and just trying to be good, helpful members of Navarre. But maybe something to drive that on a little bit. I don't know.
There's so many good ones to pick. Like ambition might be a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a kind
ambition
of cool
might be a really good one for Ifan.
Yeah, you know. And it's super cool. I think that's a really interesting way for you to go, and I didn't expect it, but it actually fits perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I think being a medic and stuff, I have like that as a bit of RP that circulates beyond, both on the field and off the field. That has a RP purpose. While if obviously you're in a situation where you're just a fighter, so that does translate in a similar way, but not maybe quite as accentuated. So
I think we're both we're both really happy, right?
Yeah,
like
super
straight
happy.
up, I'm so psyched for E4. We're all going to be there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All four of us hopefully are going to make
Dave's
it.
going to be there. Bungle's going to be there. Me and you. It's going to be amazing. Like we're really hyped. And also, I don't give a fuck about the weather. I'm calling it down right now, Ian. I don't care.
Jeez, I'm not. Like the cleaning of the tent afterwards.
Yeah,
is
you have to clean the
absolute
tent.
ball
I
ache.
don't. So that's. You know,
I just not like E1 again.
Not
Well, it
like
will be like E1 again.
not
but,
like this.
Oh, but E3 was perfect. Just in so many ways. I was just blown away by it. It literally one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah, I mean, it really was fantastic, and I'm just really excited about what happens next and who the people that we met before and how those sort of things can develop, and people from other nations and my place within it. If we die now, I feel like there's going to be more runway for that.
I think I'll go into next one. I meant to this time. It's just weird how just time runs away with you. You think you've got loads of time pre-up, and all of a sudden it just washes up. And I meant to go into this one with a character already built for if I died. I know Bungle's got one. But I think that's a good thing I'll do for next time. Just have a backup character ready to go. And it's just, I guess my objectives next time, like, I'm quite interested in maybe pursuing some kind of, like, money game to an extent, but more kind of in terms of...
For a purpose.
Like, I like the idea of looking into getting us a magic weapon.
Yeah,
Like,
or magic armor, right?
If one of us could have, like... I think a weapon would be really cool.
A weapon would be awesome, especially if we can, like...
Because if it's something that we can in some way keep within the Ashbourne, right, to have the magic sword or whatever, would just be great. Yeah. Just would be great.
Like, really good.
And, like
the Ashbourne have a bit of the Ashbourne definitely have a kind of socialist kind of... We pool all our resources, we are kind of one body, so it would kind of work RP,
It matches our RP just because we were out in the field for so long, separated from the Empire for so long. We were the community we were our own little micronation for a little while. So it kind of works well with our little RP. And then it's just, I just like the idea of us, the Ashbourne, having a weapon. And I just think that sounds so cool. It's a long-term goal, but that's probably what I want to try and work towards. I'm thinking about maybe following a few people around for some broker stuff. Not that I really even want to get heavily into the merchant game.
I would be interested in bodyguarding as well. That's something that I can see.
Yeah.
When I looked at those guys who were brokering, I was like, they've got so much money. I was like, other people will see that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Our neighbour, the girl that was staying next to us, Someone picked her pocket. Someone cut her purse.
Yeah, like and IC cut her purse and got away with some of her coin.
But then
like, the balls to do
but
that.
handed in all the OC stuff into God.
Yeah, and it's so good. People
But
are
the
amazing.
balls, man, to go
'Cause
around and rob some people.
It's one thing to try and I guess it is. It's one thing to try and kill people, which is very serious and obviously even harder, I guess. But like to actually like have the confidence to pickpocket. Like you gotta literally reach your hand in and grab her.
I mean,
because there's no skills in Empire which do things like you can put a hat on and you're sneaking and everybody has to pretend like they can't
no,
see you.
yeah.
Like there is literally
You have to be a legit thief if you're gonna be a thief.
if you can get away with it, you can do it, but you have to do it, right? There's no, if you're not the right guy for that, if you're clumsy, tough shit, you're gonna be a shit thief. I mean, it's literally is that. There's no, I've got dexterity, whatever. It doesn't work that way.
I have a sneak skill that means that you can't see me stealing your money.
And there's nothing like that in the whole of Empire for pretty much anything. There's no kind of like magic walls. There's no kind of things.
That's one thing. I think I've been kind of banging on about this whole episode is kind of me stepping up.
Yes.
Right, and I have to do that.
Yeah.
This isn't something that someone's going to be like.
Nobody's going to RP
this
for
is
you,
your time,
right?
In fact, the guys at the Egregore gave me as much as I needed to let me. He showed me the way, but didn't actually make me. And it's like
you have to go and be a good command person.
Yeah,
you have to go and do it.
Absolutely, I have to draw respect from the people that are around me, and be known as the person that can be relied on.
Yeah,
and that's really exciting.
Yeah,
like I like that.
Yeah, I think that's great, and it rewards you in so many ways. And the thing is, you don't need to have that fear of failure because even your failures have their own reward in LARP. Like getting your ass kicked or doing shit or embarrassing yourself, IC, is great RP all the time, every time. There's always something to be good, to be gained from it, and I like you can literally. I mean, even now, and even going to the next one, I'm still going to be unconfident, and I'm still going to bumble way through a whole bunch of situations, but each time I feel the confidence build and the desire to actually have really good RP interactions build every time, and I think it's.
I think I probably will have noob freeze again. I feel that's just something that's going to happen. But at the same time, I feel like again, like with the attitude that we went into the E3 with, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about it.
This one's gonna be crazy as well because we've got you and me. This is gonna be our third time. What's it like to go to a third LARP? I mean, I feel a lot more confident and I feel a lot more at home with who I am. But as you say, noob freeze is still gonna be a very real thing.
And you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I got thrust into a battle straight away this time. What's gonna happen next time?
Yeah,
and it's just there's that. Then there's Bungle who's going to his second one, and then Dave who's going to his first one.
Yeah,
and that's all crazy. And
now
we know people.
We'll be telling Dave stuff like, "Oh, this is how this is done."
Yeah,
that's going to be weird, right?
Yeah, and we know people now, right? And people know us.
They're trying to avoid us, obviously, but
yeah, that'd be wise to.
Yeah,
but there's so many little cool interactions you can have with people once you know them. And I'm not talking really about knowing people through the podcast or anything like that. I'm talking about knowing people I see on the field. Just interacting and just like now when the first time we went, the only two people I knew were you and Bungle.
Yeah.
And I knew this guy who I'd been in touch with in Eurozen. This time round, I know a bunch of people.
There's even people that I don't know personally, but I know who they are.
Yeah, and you respect them, and you'll go to them for counsel.
Yeah,
so many people I don't know the names of. I'm awful at names, and I think that's probably my biggest weakness with all of Empire. Is that I actually walk into situations not confident because I don't know people's names and they've told me their names, and I will never remember them.
Okay, cool.
I think we're pretty much good, right?
Yeah, right. There's a couple of. So I had this idea.
Okay.
I'll probably post it on the LARP Noobs podcast Facebook page.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting people from different nations to give us like a news update on what's happening in their nation.
Yeah, or not. Maybe not even that. Maybe just like what they're thinking.
Yeah,
about
I had this idea of having like it's an audio clip under like 20 seconds or something.
Super quick, right?
It has to be really, really fast. But you can do it in character if you want, or do the start in character, but say hello to your friends and do this out. But like, it has to be quick and like
an emotion from Empire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just kind of like, and also just if it's just something on your phone and you just record it and then smash it out, like whatever. Like let's see what's out there. We might get none, or we might get someone that writes something down, but let's see.
Let's see what happens.
I'll try and I'll post something on the Facebook group. I haven't worked out the details yet. If you have good ideas of how to share documents with me, then feel free to let me know. But yeah, and as always, like we said at the start, and we won't waffle on about this, but we really appreciate people listening.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
And people commenting and getting in touch. It's really, really nice. So you're all absolute sweethearts.
It's been phenomenal. And I think, as I said at the beginning, the podcast has been just a great thing for you and me.
I've really enjoyed it.
And everything from now is amazing. And it's all thanks to you guys.
Onwards.
Yeah.
Strength to the Empire.
Strength to Navarre.
What's that you've got there? You found him. You've got the pendant. Brilliant. Well, this is rather exciting news. I guess you want to know what this is. This is the key to adventure. So, why don't you come with me, and I'll continue telling you the tales of the Nudes of Love.